There's backstage heat on an AEW name following a botch on Dynamite. Plus, a popular indie star is making their Impact Wrestling debut. And a scrapped AEW WrestleDream plan has been revealed. It is all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. We mentioned in the last video a little bit about Jon Moxley suffering a concussion during last week's Dynamite. Andrew, bring us up to speed and tell us what the latest is.
Yeah, so obviously, as you said there, Moxley suffered a concussion last week on Dynamite, and consequently, an audible was called that led to an AEW International title change. The finish saw the official fail to pick up the cues from Moxley that he was injured and wanted to bring the match to an end, and that official being Rick Knox, forcing Ray Fenix to drop the concussed Moxley with a piledriver before counting the definitive 3. Fightful Select have an update on this, and they say, "We were contacted by several talent on the roster that said while they like Rick Knox, there was heavy heat on him within the company, as this wasn't the first time something like this has happened and a wrestler wasn't protected." Another instance that I can remember is of Alex Reynolds. I think from 2020 there was a big old tag team match. The Dark Order were in there. Reynolds gets rocked by a move from Private Party, it seems, and he's just led on the canvas for the longest time, not really moving, looks quite stiff in his movements and everything. And I do recall, like, later on, Reynolds was like, "I thought I was all right, I felt all right, that's why I didn't really call anybody over or anything like that." But it does seem like there's a lot of talk online about this not being, about this being something that has occurred a few times within AEW in relation to Rick Knox, unfortunately.
I think when it comes to any job like that, when you're in a high stakes, fast paced environment like that, sometimes you can miss quite obvious stuff. You can miss heat of the moment stuff. I think for us, it was a case of we could see through the screen. Moxie was hurt. Moxie was very clearly going, "I want the match to end."
Yeah.
But Rick Knox, who was next to him, wasn't picking up on that. We even saw Jon Moxley say "F you" to Rick Knox when he didn't pick up on the sign. And, you know, you do the one thing that you probably shouldn't do with somebody who's concussed, and that's drop them on their head with a pile driver. Now, Fenix was safe as houses with that second pile driver. I really want to point that out. Like, everything was fine there, but I'd argue that the safest thing to do with somebody with a potential concussion is not a pile driver. But because the match hadn't ended in the way that Moxley had probably called for, they had to do something, and so that was what they did. So there is some heat on there today. Now, Moxley was said to be involved in WrestleDream in a capacity, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, so stay tuned, because we've got details on who and what Moxley was going to be getting up to at WrestleDream. Had he been cleared? Maybe still could. We'll talk about it in a bit. CMLL in the news today. Interesting, this one. It's considering the timing with everything happening with WWE forming TKO Group Holdings and AEW seemingly making more steps towards doing stuff with New Japan. CMLL have announced that they formed an alliance with MLW and, again, the aforementioned New Japan Pro Wrestling. They put out a joint statement via CEO Court Bauer, did MLW, saying it's a privilege, it's an honor to form an alliance with CMLL and work with Salvador Lutuloth Lomeli and his team while expanding MLW's relationship with New Japan to create an extraordinary collaboration. I wish to thank Mr. Salvador, Mr. Naoki, Mr. Takami, Rocky Romero for building the foundation for this opportunity, and we look forward to showcasing the extraordinary athletes from Mexico, Japan, and America and fans worldwide. What does this mean? Well, Fightful explains, saying those that we've spoken to say there'll be a steady flow of talent between the three groups. MLW looking to get a big refresh of Lucha talent in 2024, including a lot of CMLL talent heading over as well. New Japan wrestling crossovers will also get bigger as they get into the new year. I think that's one to keep an eye on.
I think it could be something really special for all of the companies involved there. And, you know, I know, obviously, Tony Khan, he says this all the time, right? A new era for AEW. I wonder if there's even more crossover than usual that we see going into 2024, like going forward, which wouldn't surprise me at all. I think it's always fun when we get these events and we see these companies working together and we get something a little bit different and we see sort of dream matches forming. But yeah, I think this is a really good thing for MLW as well, sort of expand for them and make them seem like a little bit more of a bigger deal.
It puts them, I mean, what MLW do on the weekly is really great wrestling television, and it's a great opportunity for them to not just do more stuff away from their home base, but also utilize their talent and make their talent bigger in the process, working with people from CMLL, working with people from New Japan, and also vice versa. It's a really intriguing deal, one that I think is going to be worth keeping an eye on. Over to Impact Wrestling for some news on their UK tour. A big announcement last night that I must admit has got the fake Geordie in me delighted.
Yes, I can imagine so. So last night, Impact Wrestling announced that British wrestling standout and the reigning North WWE
Do you know what? He might as well be.
The reigning North Wrestling Champion, we'll get then. Leon Slater has been added to the Impact UK Invasion Tour next month. Not only that, but at Impact Wrestling Turning Point, Leon will defend the North Wrestling Championship, which is insane. That's
Come on,
so
Bowers!
Cool.
We did it! We did it!
Slater has been turning heads in the UK for several years now and has recently competed in the States for GCW as well. This will be Leon's Impact Wrestling debut, and what a debut it will be. Leon is an incredible talent. Obviously, you know this already, working for North. What a guy, and I'm really excited for him to be on that sort of stage, and hopefully more eyes on the guy as well.
Really excited to see. I'm just proud in general to be a part of North Wrestling at this really pivotal point, and to get to work with Impact Wrestling, I think is incredible.
Oh my goodness.
To see the North Wrestling title defended on Impact Telly, I think is fantastic, and on an Impact special out of Newcastle as well. Like, what a time! What a time to be alive!
What a time to be alive. I mean, it feels like North is just only going from strength to strength. Not just because you're sat here, sat next to me. I'm not just kissing some bum right here, but I'm just saying.
If you want.
I'm just saying it feels like it's going from strength to strength. Since I moved up to Newcastle and came to my first North shows, they felt special then, but they feel even more larger in spectacle now. You know, it's really cool to see.
This is going to further add to Impact Wrestling's plans to invest in the UK scene, it seems, because next month we have the UK Invasion Tour. As we've said, we've got a night in Glasgow, we've got a Turning Point in Newcastle upon Tyne, and then 2 days of TV tapings in Coventry as well. As well as that, they had the announcement of Gut Check, which we talked about on the news yesterday. One up-and-coming star is going to win an Impact developmental deal and a bursary to go and train overseas as well. So that's a great investment in some... And I know already a few people who have seen that and gone getting involved in that.
That's really cool.
So there's a really great opportunity next month for people to do really exciting stuff overseas with Impact Wrestling. And go up Leon Slater. What a guy.
Up Leon Slater.
What a guy. If you don't know him, get to know him. He did an episode of Desert Island Graps with us a little earlier this year, and he's had a breakout marquee year ever since. You can listen to that on the podcast feed. So it's Leon Slater, Cultaholic, wherever you get your podcasts from. Let's end on this then. So we talked about Moxley suffering that concussion back at Dynamite and being seemingly written off plans for WrestleDream. But what were those plans going to be, Andrew?
Well, Moxley was obviously supposed to retain his AEW International title last week against Rey Fenix. But obviously, as we said before, an audible was called and the title was switched because we realised he had an injury, unfortunately. Fightful Select, however, added a little bit more spice, a little bit more salt into this...
Goulash.
Stirring pot, this goulash. Originally, a non-AEW wrestler was supposed to come out on Dynamite and challenge Moxley for WrestleDream. However, when the match result changed, so did the plan to come out and make a challenge. We haven't learned who it was.
But apparently, bodyslam.net have. They have said sources close to them say that Jon Moxley was supposed to retain the AEW International title and then be squared up to by filthy Tom Lawler. Tom Lawler, who was involved in a recent AEW show as the opponent for Adam Cole.
Yes.
Adam Cole. I had to remember that then. And these two, now, it's not the end of the road just yet, because bodyslam.net say they've been told, should Moxie be cleared for Sunday's show, the match will be back on. It is admittedly Thursday morning as we record this, is looking less likely that Moxie will be cleared in time.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we've got Collision. Something could happen there, but as you said, I think it feels a little bit unlikely.
He could just walk out on Sunday if he was cleared to. I guess it's something they're gonna be day to day on. But yeah, even if they don't do it at WrestleDream, I think Moxley and Lawler.
Oh, it will be a big old slap fest.
The Fest of Slaps is happening. A Fest of WrestleDream on the Cultaholic YouTube channel. 9 pitches for WrestleDream waiting for you now. Predictions later on for WrestleDream with Fraser Porter and myself, plus live reactions to the show on Sunday. Then you'll have what happened at WrestleDream and the WTF moments from WrestleDream with Ross as well. And for the latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you, bye.